Welcome! Today, we're going to show you how to calibrate a Ranger pH sensor. To calibrate your Ranger sensor, you'll need a primary pH buffer, a secondary pH buffer, a third buffer, only if you're doing a 3-point calibration, and some deionized water for rinsing. A couple of tips to start with. Never dip the sensor directly into your buffer storage containers. Always use a separate sample jar to avoid contamination. Also, it's wise to double check that your buffers aren't expired. If performing a 2-point calibration, you'll need to choose 2 buffers. For point 1, choose a neutral buffer, for example pH 7. For point 2, choose a different buffer from the same set. In this video, we're using the USA buffer set, using pH 7 for point 1 and pH 4 for point 2. For a 3-point calibration, also select a third buffer that is opposite on the pH scale to your secondary buffer. We'll be using pH 10 for our third point. To get started, ensure you have filled your clean sample jars with about 2 centimeters of your selected buffers. Then, remove the sensor's wetting cap. Connect the Ranger pH sensor to the Ranger meter and power on the meter. Give the sensor a second to initialize. Press the Calibrate button to enter calibration mode. Use the navigation keys to highlight the pH sensor and press Select. Highlight Begin Cal and press Select to begin. Now we're ready to start calibrating. Rinse the sensor tip thoroughly with deionized water and gently shake off the excess. Immerse the sensor tip into the sample jar containing your primary buffer. Gently stir while keeping the tip submerged. Wait for the sensor's stability indicator, LED, to turn solid green, indicating a stable reading. Select Capture First Point. Remove from the primary buffer and rinse the sensor tip with deionized water. Immerse the sensor tip into your secondary buffer sample jar. Gently stir and wait for stabilization. Once the reading is stable, select Capture Second Point. Rinse the sensor tip with deionized water. If performing a 3-point calibration, immerse the sensor tip into the third buffer sample jar and wait for stabilization. Once all points are captured, select Apply Calibration. Rinse the sensor with deionized water and store appropriately. The sensor is now calibrated. You can view a short calibration history by plugging the same sensor into the Ranger and entering calibration mode again. Or to see an extended history, simply plug your Ranger into a computer and view the log file.